Greetings from USTC360. I'm Melody Way. This past September marked the 9th anniversary of 9/11. Today, the controversy over the construction of the Islamic Center near Ground Zero and the plan to burn the Koran have demonstrated the unresolved conflict between religions even after 9 years. However, across the Hudson River in Cedar Grove, New Jersey, residents of a small town reached out to local religious groups to form a Thanksgiving Interfaith Service. This is a response to 9/11 and hopes to inspire peace and mutual understanding among different religious groups. Let's see how it all began.
Cedar Grove, New Jersey is a town 12 miles away from New York City. Most people in town work in the big cities, but would rather come home to this small, quiet, and peaceful town every night.
There's about 12,800 people that live in Cedar Grove right now. There is, I think, 4,500 homes in Cedar Grove at this moment. It's a nice, quiet community, a very friendly community, a family-orientated community, what you call basically a bedroom community, where there's mostly homes that people live and they work other places and such.
Thanksgiving Interfaith Service is held by 5 different religions: Christianity, Greek Orthodox, Catholic, Jewish, and Buddhist, every year before Thanksgiving.
The Interfaith Service began perhaps in the late 1960s or even early 1970s to sharing and working with and praying with people of other faiths. And I believe that's the time when, particularly for Americans, this feast of the secular feast of Thanksgiving is something we all treasure, and it became custom in many towns like this one to celebrate Thanksgiving with an interfaith prayer service.
A chance then to sit down together and talk about our communities of faith, what might be topics for our town, what are some of the issues coming up, and just to get to know each other. So that builds, I think, trust and a sense of knowing each other so that we have a better working understanding of what's going on in town.
It's an opportunity for families and people to get together and reflect on the many blessings that we have, and to take time out to realize that there's a lot for us to be grateful for, and to express that thanks.
Suchi's New Jersey branch office moved to Cedar Grove in the year 2000. Since then, Suchi became a member of this town.
Even
though the small town is very conservative and traditional, it is actually better for Tzu Chi development because the local people are very curious about foreign groups. They observe our action. We are constantly being watched without knowing it.
9/11 happened the year after Tzu Chi relocated to this town. New Jersey Tzu Chi volunteers collected 200 blankets, sleeping bags, and pillows within the same night for the New Yorkers that were trapped in Weehawken. The following day, the volunteers joined with New York volunteers at the World Trade Center and began the rescue. After 9/11, the Thanksgiving Interfaith Service became more meaningful. The locals saw Tzu Chi's actions and remembered it in their hearts. Within the same year, Tzu Chi was invited to the Thanksgiving Interfaith Service.
I think the Interfaith Service took on a new importance and even poignancy after September 11th, because we all were people who in some way were impacted by this terrible disaster, and that drew people closer together.
Most Americans think Buddhism is a very conservative religion, but when they saw our sign language performance for the first time, I believe they were surprised and thought we were different from other Buddhist groups.
In 2008, our volunteers proposed to host the Thanksgiving Interfaith Service for 2010 and were approved by other religious leaders. Therefore, the 2010 Thanksgiving Interfaith Service will be held in the Tzu Chi, New Jersey branch office. This is also the first time a Thanksgiving Interfaith Service will be held by a Buddhist group. New Jersey volunteers began the preparation 8 months ago. They contacted and updated each religion's leaders regularly. This joint religious prayer is not just a once-a-year gathering, but also a way to give back to the community.
The most important of which that struck me in my wonderful interactions with Tzu Chi is the emphasis on good deeds and on helping those in need. In Judaism, the concept of tikkun olam, which is a Hebrew phrase that means repairing the world.
I'm really learning more than I ever knew before, and particularly about Tzu Chi as a particular form of Buddhism. And certainly what I'm most impressed by is the commitment I hear from the Buddhists to the good, what we Catholics call the common good, the good of the community, the good of all people.
There is no difference whether you believe in Buddha, whether you believe in Jesus Christ, whether you believe in the Jewish religion of the Old Testament. It doesn't matter. You're still all believing in one human being is equal to another human being.
I believe the path is made by people. These past 10 years were difficult. We should be grateful to our determined Tzu Chi volunteers and to our spiritual leader who has guided us for allowing us to reach where we are today.